Okay, this is a video on the sine, cosine and area rules and what you should know from GCSE. So these are the three rules. The sine rule, you could write as sine A over A equals sine B over B, or you might know it the other way around as A over sine A equals B over sine B. You might do the reciprocal of each of those. Cosine rule, you should know that it's a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cos a. You should also know the way to rearrange this formula to make cos a the subject. And finally, you should know the area rule. The area is half AB sine c. In terms of when to use each of them, you should know that you use the sine rule when you have a pair. What I mean by that is, when you label it up, if I call this angle A here, and this would be side A. If this is angle B, that will be side B, and if that's angle C, that will be side C. Now, what I mean by a pair is, if, for example, I knew that this was 40 degrees, and I know that this over here is 10 centimetres, then I have a pair, because these match up, and I know both of those pieces of information. So I have a pair. So in this case, I would use the sine rule. If I didn't know what that was, if I knew that angle but I didn't know that side, perhaps I knew this side over here was 12, and perhaps I knew this side over here, if I knew this side here was 7, I don't know, then I don't have any pairs. Nothing's matching up. I've got this angle but I don't have that side. I've got this side but I don't have that angle. I've got this side but I don't have that angle. So there's no matching pairs. So you can't use the sine rule in that case, and you'd have to use the cosine rule. The other important thing I should say is it doesn't matter the way you label the triangle up. It doesn't matter that A, B, C, which way round you pick them. The only thing that's important is when you substitute the numbers into the formulae. So obviously the angle has to go inside the trigonometric function for the sine rule. Don't put the side inside the trigonometric function. Make sure it's only the angle that goes inside the sine. Over here, make sure B and C don't matter. You can pick B and C any way you want. The only thing that's important is that the side A is the side that is opposite the angle. That's the only important thing for this one here. And the only important thing for the area rule is the angle must be the angle that is in between the two sides A and B. Okay, so this angle must be the angle in between A and B. So anyway, that's a very quick summary. Let's have a look at an example. So the question's asking us to find the area of triangle ABC. So we want to work out the area of this triangle here. At the moment, I can see I've got an angle and I've got a side, but I don't have any other information. I don't know what these angles are, and I don't know what these two sides are. So we need to figure out some more information about this triangle. So I'm going to look over here, and I'm noticing that in this triangle, let's draw it in blue, in triangle BCD, I've got an angle and I've got two sides. So I could work out this side over here. I could work out this side BC pretty easily using the cosine rule. I'm going to use the cosine rule because there's no pairs matching up here. I know this angle but I don't know this side. I know this side but I don't know that angle. I know this side but I don't know that angle. So I'm going to have to use the cosine rule. So x squared equals 9 squared plus 12 squared. Remember, you could do those the other way around if you prefer, doesn't matter. Minus 2 times 9 times 12 times cos 50. Substitute all that into your calculator. And just remember that gives you x squared. So to get x, you're going to want to square root all of what you get. Square root your answer. So let's do that. Do this on your calculator with me. Let's make sure we get this correct. So 9 squared plus 12 squared minus 2 times 9 times 12 times cos 50, all square rooted, and we get 9.28 to 2 decimal places. With these questions, always check to make sure it's a reasonable answer. Saying that's 9.28, that seems pretty reasonable to me. If that's 9 and that's 12, it's a good check to make sure you've not made any silly mistakes there. So we know this is 9.28. Okay, right. Remember, I'm trying to work out the area of the red triangle. So I want to use the half AB sine C formula. Now, if I'm going to use this angle here, this would be my side A, and this would need to be my side B. Remember that the angle is always the one in between the two sides. Now I don't know what this is. So I could try and work it out. Or is there another way I could do it? Well, I already know these two sides here, so I could try and work out this angle, the angle in between them. And in fact, that's what I'm going to do. If I can work out this green angle, I can then do half AB sine C. So the question then is, how do we work out this angle? Well, notice we've got a pair. So we can use the sine rule to help us to work out this angle. So I could write down sine 40 over 8 equals, now, so that's this pair. Notice actually this angle here matches up with this angle at this side over here, which I don't know. So I can't work out this angle directly. I could work out this angle here, like this, because that's opposite the 9.28. But that's fine, because if I can work out this angle here, then I can get this one quite simply by doing 180, take away these two. So, sine A equals, moving this up to the top here, 9.28 times sine 40 over 8. Which gives 0.7458. And to work out the angle, we do sine inverse of my answer. So the angle is 48.2 degrees. So if that's 48.2, I can now work out this angle here by doing 180, take away these two. And now I can do a half AB sine C. Okay, so we should get 37.1 centimetres squared.